Bill Gates is reportedly furious, and for once, he should be. Lenovo, the world's largest PC manufacturer, just certified its entire workstation portfolio for Linux. Every ThinkStation, every ThinkPad P-Series, Ubuntu, Red Hat, every model, every configuration. This is not a pilot program. This is the world's biggest PC maker telling Microsoft that Windows is no longer required. And here's the part that should terrify Redmond. Microsoft just declared 240 million perfectly functional computers obsolete. Not because the hardware failed, not because the processors slowed down, because Windows 11 demands a security chip that most of those machines do not have. But Lenovo proved something Microsoft never wanted public. The hardware was never the problem. Windows was. What you're about to hear is the original equipment manufacturer cost extraction scheme Microsoft built into every laptop you have ever bought. The hardware mandate trap that turned your working computer into e-waste, and the surveillance upgrade that nobody asked for. To understand why Lenovo made this move, you need to understand what Windows 11 actually costs, not to you, to the companies that build your computer. For 3 decades, the deal was simple. You bought a computer, it ran Windows, it worked. That era ended on October 14th, 2025, when Microsoft killed support for Windows 10 and stranded hundreds of millions of machines on the wrong side of an artificial line. Windows 11 requires a TPM 2.0 security chip. It requires an 8th generation Intel processor or newer. It requires secure boot, a specific CPU list, and a Microsoft account just to set up the machine. And if your perfectly functional laptop does not meet those requirements, Microsoft's answer is simple: buy a new one. According to Canalys, the global market research firm, approximately 240 million PCs worldwide cannot meet Windows 11's hardware requirements. That's roughly 1/5 of every active Windows computer on the planet. These machines are not broken. They browse the web, run spreadsheets, stream video, and handle everything their owners need. But Microsoft drew a line, and your laptop landed on the wrong side of it. Stephen Hosking, a senior product manager at Microsoft, called TPM 2.0 a non-negotiable standard for the future of Windows. Read that again. Non-negotiable. Your working computer is not up for discussion. And if you want to keep receiving security updates on Windows 10 after the cutoff, Microsoft will sell them to you. $30 a year for consumers. For enterprise customers, the pricing is even more revealing. $61 the first year, $122 the second, $244 the third. The price doubles every year. That's not a support plan. That's a ransom note. The U.S. Public Interest Research Group estimates that up to 400 million devices could be affected, potentially generating over 1 billion pounds of electronic waste. Functional laptops, working desktops, machines that do everything their owners need, declared obsolete by a software company that did not build any of them. But rendering your laptop obsolete is only the first part of the scheme. For the machines that do qualify for Windows 11, Microsoft has something else planned. If your computer survived the hardware mandate, congratulations! Microsoft has a reward for you. It is called Recall, and it takes a screenshot of everything you do on your computer every few seconds. Microsoft introduced Recall as a productivity feature for its new Copilot Plus PCs, pitching it as a searchable timeline of your digital life. What they did not mention at launch was that the original implementation stored those screenshots in an unencrypted plaintext database that any application on your system could access. Security researcher Kevin Beaumont demonstrated that stealing a user's entire recall history was possible with just 2 lines of code: passwords, bank statements, private messages, medical records, all of it sitting in a folder, unprotected. The backlash was immediate and severe. Microsoft delayed the feature, reworked it, and eventually made it opt-in with encryption. But the damage was done. The company that controls the operating system on over 1 billion machines had shipped a surveillance tool without adequate security review, without proper encryption, and without meaningful user consent. This was not a bug. This was a design philosophy. And recall is only the most visible symptom. Windows 11 requires a Microsoft account to set up the Home Edition. Copilot AI is integrated into Settings, File Explorer, and throughout the interface. Telemetry collects diagnostic data that cannot be fully disabled on Home Editions. Edge resists replacement as the default browser. OneDrive syncs your files to Microsoft's cloud without a clear opt-out during setup. Fewer than 2% of all Windows laptops sold qualify as Copilot Plus PCs. The market has spoken. Users do not want an AI-first operating system. They want a computer that works. But Microsoft is building Windows 11 around a vision that users have already rejected and is charging them for the privilege. And that brings us to the company that decided enough was enough. Lenovo didn't quietly experiment with Linux. They went all in. Every ThinkStation workstation, every ThinkPad P-Series laptop, certified for Ubuntu, long-term support, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Every model, every configuration. And then they did something even more significant. They started upstreaming device drivers directly into the Linux kernel itself. That detail is the one Microsoft should lose sleep over. When a manufacturer upstreams drivers to the Linux kernel, those drivers don't just work on Ubuntu or Red Hat. They work on every Linux distribution that uses that kernel. Fedora, Linux Mint, Zorin OS, Pop OS. Lenovo didn't just certify 2 distributions, they made their entire workstation hardware compatible with the entire Linux ecosystem, permanently. Rob Herman, Lenovo's general manager of the workstation and client AI group, framed it plainly. By certifying the entire portfolio, Lenovo was prioritizing specialized end users and ensuring the best possible out-of-the-box Linux experience. No Windows license to manage, no bloatware to pre-install, no Microsoft compatibility hoops to jump through. Install the operating system, configure the drivers, ship. And here's what happens when you remove Windows from the equation. Linux boots faster, uses less RAM, does not accumulate the registry decay and background telemetry drag that makes Windows machines feel sluggish within months of purchase. The hardware does not change. The processors are identical. The RAM is the same. The storage is the same. The only variable is the operating system. Customers buying these machines are not getting better hardware. They are getting hardware that is finally free to perform the way it was designed to. Windows was never the platform that enabled your laptop. It was the tax on it. And Lenovo, the world's largest PC manufacturer, just showed the entire industry the receipt. So what does this mean for you? It means you have a choice that did not exist 5 years ago. If your computer runs, it runs Linux. Ubuntu and Linux Mint are built for people who have never touched a terminal. Zorin OS is designed to feel like Windows from the moment you boot it, and you do not have to commit to anything. Download a Linux distribution, put it on a USB drive, and boot from it. Test it on your actual hardware. See if your browser works, if your printer connects, if your workflow survives. You risk nothing. If you're buying hardware, look for manufacturers that officially certify Linux. Lenovo ThinkPad, Framework, and System76 ship machines that work with Linux out of the box. No driver hunting, no compatibility gambles. Stop paying for features that work against you. Recall, Copilot, forced OneDrive sync, mandatory Microsoft accounts. These are not features, these are extraction mechanisms. Lenovo, the world's largest PC maker, already made this decision. They ran the numbers, tested the alternative, and certified their entire workstation lineup for Linux. They did not do it for ideology. They did it because the math forced them to. And now that you have seen it, neither can Microsoft. If this breakdown changed how you see the PC industry, Hit like, share, and subscribe. The companies abandoning Windows next are even bigger.